Hi guys, my name is Bulelani Balabala. Today we're talking about mentorship. Yes, mentorship, the relationship between a mentee and the mentor. And I'm just going to be sharing my 2 cents. I mean, in no particular order, my 2 cents in and around how they can enhance the relationship and make it a value-driven relationship, right? With key performance indicators, or rather objectives that are measurable, and a relationship that's really just going to be beneficial for both. Because most of the time where I've heard the word mentorship being brought up, it's always been positioned as a give and take sort of a relationship. It's not a give and take relationship, it's a give relationship. Both parties need to be willing to come in and give of the value. So the mentor, upon agreeing to participate in this relationship, then needs to then be willing to give up their time, give clear, honest, and credible advice, and think twice as well when they know that they are not best suited to offer you the right advice, to offer you the right sort of coaching and sponsorship, to offer you the right sort of support. They need to recuse themselves from the relationship, right? Because it's not necessarily always true that a mentor is someone who's successful, has a lot of money, is on the cover of magazines. It's not always that you have it in that particular order and form, because you can then find a mentor from someone who's an academic specialist, from someone who's a professional, from someone who's a seasoned entrepreneur, even someone who's already successful. But I think twice as well as a mentee, you need to be able to go, or rather desire to go into that relationship, understanding very well who you are and what is it exactly that you want to work on. You might not have the whole entire story pieced out or even figured out. You don't have to, but you need to at least be very clear about what you'd want to achieve from that particular mentor. But the operative thing here is the relationship. There needs to be synergies. You don't just walk up in front of someone and say, you know what, I'd want you to be my mentor. Maybe they will entertain you and say, how do you see me mentoring you? Or rather, what would you want me to mentor you in? And then you don't have an answer to that question, or you throw it back at them and you say anything, you could just mentor me. No, you need to be very clear. You know, a friend of mine says that you need to be very intentional. Debo Khomafodi says that you need to be very intentional. And you being very clear about what it is exactly that you want from the mentor helps you in yourself and helps the mentor in themselves decide whether or not this is the worthwhile relationship. Because you need to understand as well that I think also from a branding perspective, you also get branded by association. So you don't just really want to pick out a mentor as if you're walking around with a grocery list and you're not even sure what this thing is going to do for you, but you're just looking for the mentor because they look good, they look like they're driving a flashy car, they look like they're doing well. It doesn't work that way. The relationship between a mentor and a mentee needs to be a mutually beneficial relationship. So as much as the mentor is also feeding into your development and growth, identify rooms and areas in the mentor's career, in the mentor's life that you could plug yourself into. You know, I've met very smart and I've met very, very smart and people who've done very well in life. And I mean, one gentleman was sharing with me the other day how he's one of the top 15 in terms of what he does in the country. But he was saying to me that it didn't stop there. It started in him saying to the person that at the time that he desired to have as a mentor that I'll carry your bags, I'll wash your car. But he had an MBA at the time. So it's in understanding that in you being able to capture the attention of the person that you want to work with, you need to utilize what I call as a diversion tactic. And a diversion tactic is really finding an open gap and filling in that gap and making that person notice you. The moment you've got their attention, then you ask that one or two questions that you feel you've always wanted to get the answer to. You go back home and you work on that relationship. You go back home and you work off the feedback or you work off that question, but you then make sure that you do one critical thing. Because the one on the other hand is a mentor and they're giving off their time they could be spending with their son or their daughter, their family, their business, growing their brand, relaxing and resting, and they're giving you off this time. The moment you get into that relationship, make sure that you add as much value as possible. Don't compromise your mentor on the other end. Because there are people who are championing for us to succeed, and when you don't deliver and when you don't show up, that then frustrates the relationship. So I think the second biggest thing is you being able to value each other's time and being able to appreciate the value that both of you guys are bringing. But let me go to the first one because I hadn't highlighted the point. The first one is you being able to understand cognitively why you want to go into this mentorship relationship. You've got no business looking for a mentor if you have not figured out what a mentor is, if you haven't even sat in front of your computer and Googled out what mentorship is all about, how these relationships have worked out for other people, so that you can form an idea and so that you can also form a picture of what you want to achieve in a mentor. So I've also then thought, and I've seen the challenge before, right? So I talk to entrepreneurs and I talk to mentees, I talk to mentors as well, and I've seen the mismatch, not just the mismatch, but also the miscommunication. You then find that this one on the other end is confused about the relationship purely because there was no clear articulation. Sometimes when you are saying that you're looking for a mentor, what you are actually failing to articulate is that you're looking for a sponsor. Maybe you're looking for someone who's going to vouch for you and open doors for you. Now that person might not necessarily be the mentor is going to give you the guidance, but it's still a mentor at the end of the day in terms of business and growth and business development. But to a degree, you might also then be looking for a coach, someone you would then have on retainer, and someone who's actually going to be giving you strategies to grow and develop and move your business to the next plan. But you need to then be able to then decide and figure out of yourself, what sort of a mentor am I looking for, and what sort of value am I looking for what sort of value am I also then going to bring into this mentorship relationship? Because it's not a one-way streak, it's not a give and take relationship, it's a two-way streak. So when you go into your relationship, or when you go into a relationship and you look at a mentor, you might have to part ways with certain things. It's not a problem because you are investing ideally in the growth of you. So I look at when I established a relationship with one gentleman, one prominent business individual in the country, who's done very well for himself years ago. I then had to decide, at that moment, I then decided that, you know what, I'm going to go into this relationship and add value. So I decided I'm going to carry your jacket. I'm going to carry your bag. I'm going to wash your car if you need me to. Whatever you need, I'm going to be there. I was doing all the things. I was asking to do all the things. Now, the most important thing was just that, right? I was asking to do all the things that had nothing to do with the baseline thing that I wanted in the first place. That's because you want to capture the individual's attention. I always say to people, you don't jump in front of the train. You don't jump in front of a moving train and hope that it's going to stop just purely because you're saying, I need the help. I need the help. I need the assistance. I need the pity. I need that. I need the whatever. It won't stop, right? So in order for you to function in this mentor-mentee relationship is for you to play by the rules of the game. Now, the rules of the game is that the person that you want to stop and the person you want to get help from, they're already in transit. If this person is already in transit, identify how they move and identify how they live. So if this person at 8 o'clock in the morning, they're going out to get coffee, make sure that you are there with them, walking with them, paying for their coffee, carrying their bag, walking them to their car. And you nag that person and you consistently show up, but you don't nag the person in the sense, you don't nag the person in being a nuisance. You nag the person in being a nuisance about you wanting to help them, you wanting to be an individual in their lives that's going to add value. That means that instead of you standing in front of the moving train, you run alongside the train. You run as fast, even if it means you crawl, even if it means you walk, even if it means you drag yourself, you do whatever it takes so that you can get to the point where you get the person's attention. And the moment you get that person's attention, ask that $1 million question, and ask that question, and ask the question that's going to help you shape and grow your business. But the moment they give you an opportunity to feedback that information and feedback that task in the best possible way. Add as much value as you possibly can to the relationship. And the last thing, the thing that you leave for the last, is asking them for stuff. Ask them at the least, when you know that you have deposited a certain amount into that bank account, that's when you then can go in and then you can then withdraw. Because the relationship is all about deposits, not just about deposits and withdrawals. It's really just about each other depositing in each other to build each other up. And if you don't inspire your mentor, then chances are you've got the wrong mentor. But you need to be with someone who's inspired by your story, who's inspired by you, and also vice versa. So go out there, happy hunting, find the right mentor, be clear about what you want to achieve from your mentor-mentee relationship. I'm sorry for the bad lighting and the bad sound, but you can watch more of my videos on YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube account. And if you want to book me to come do a talk, you can book me on bulelani.co.za. Have a beautiful day. Happy hunting.